Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sharon's Faith Corner, episode 25. Today, I'm really excited about today's guest, and I will turn it to him in just a moment. I wanted to remind everyone that this is a free service. It's about somebody's miracle, hopefully saving somebody's life. So if you'd like to be part of this project, please message me. And I will meet you where you're at. And if you're out of the state or out of the country, we can certainly do it by computer. But all of you make a difference. So with that, I'm going to turn it to Amosta, who I am a big fan of, and he is certainly a miracle. And with that, I'm going to turn it to him.
Hey everybody, my name is Amosta Tenari Brown. My friends call me T. So where it started for me was, after years of kind of finding a way to fit in, trying to be whatever the world, was happening at what was happening at the time, whatever my place was, trying to find my place. But in doing so, I kind of lost track of how myself wanted to be loved. And throughout the years, I've searched externally for things that made me feel like I belong, like I could fill that void that was inside of me. And there's a lot of similarities that I've heard from different friends that have been through recovery, and even not in recovery. I mean, you don't have to be in recovery to feel that way. A lot of especially our young people, they have a hard time finding themselves. And the biggest message I got throughout this is self-love and self-care, and how important that is. Because once you know how much you love yourself, you also find your worth. And there's also that line that you won't allow anything to bring down your worth. And that's what you do to yourself, and most importantly, how you take care of yourself, how you speak to yourself. Because a lot of times in my life, going through substances made me feel like I was on top of the world. Like, I could numb everything out, be apathetic, could forget about everything. But it ultimately only pushed those feelings deeper inside. And just like, a bottle with a lot of pressure, it exploded. And, it's tough to talk about, whether you're male, female, or whatever you prefer to call. When we don't speak about our feelings, when we don't have people we can trust, and that can give us honest feedback, and tell us like, hey, that's not a really good idea, or thank you for being vulnerable. Those types of conversations, they're uncomfortable, but they're usually the ones that save your life. And for my miracle, it was finally getting to a rock bottom, and everybody's rock bottom is different, of course. It gets pretty dark in those places, and even a match can seem pretty bright in those dark places. And for me, that match was the VOA. The hope that I saw here really lit up my furnace and guided me out of that dark place. And with them, there's multiple people in my life now that I look back with torches, that help guide the way. And when you start dealing with what's inside, your world outside starts to reflect that. It's hard for us to deal with what's inside because some of the things have cobwebs, some of the things seem ancient. But once you start touching base on that, it's not something that you're gonna do with one day and get over years of of trauma or anything. But I'm sorry, Sharon, can you put it a little
Yeah.
yeah, that's
like
perfect.
that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome cameraman job. And these personal things, they take time, and you have to give yourself grace. That's also what's part of self-love and self-care, is like you have to be the one to ultimately speak to yourself as if you're speaking to your child version of yourself. Because when we speak to other people, it's easy for us to compliment them you know what I mean, to see how great they're doing. But for ourselves, sometimes it's very difficult, and you know that can be an habitual pattern that you've built up over years. But give yourself some grace, love yourself, do things that you like to do. These are things that I've learned, and cherish your relationships that you have, people that have really shown you genuine love and care and want to see you do well. And that doesn't always come out how you want, because we can never control how people show their love. That's how they love, and we have to accept that, because part of accepting other people is accepting yourself. And you know, and now I'm so blessed to be able to sit here and share my story, because through over a decade of addiction and substances, you know, I've finally been able to get a footing, and I'm still a baby in this. I'm still learning as I go. I don't know everything, and I hope to not know everything. You know, I don't ever want to feel like I'm at that place, because I feel like I stopped learning and stopped growing. And you know, that's part of the beauties of this journey, is that we're always growing, we're always learning, and you want to find people around you that are a good support and that water you, and you water them, and you guys grow together. And so after this time, and like I said, I feel blessed to be here. I feel blessed to be alive, and I'm so happy that the people that I've seen who also have changed their lives are doing well, and I love seeing the people that are in my life now, that we have genuine connections. And for me, it's the path of, you know, living as an honorable person. Sometimes we can get a little lost, but like I said, give yourself some grace, and it's a miracle that I'm sitting here, and that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Mosta, that was awesome. Awesome camera job, right? We'll get it well eventually. Anyway, thank you again, Mosta.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Okay, see you next episode. Bye, everybody.